Yeah. Thank you, Shivam and 500 Days team for inviting us to present our idea and product. So let me start with the recent discussion in Mahakumbh. We are discussing about food delivery app and deep technology India versus China. So here we are developing a Farm Fusion interface app. So before I will indulge into the presentation, let me give little about my background. My name is Abhishek Tripathi, and I'm having more than 15 years of experience in precision agriculture, satellite AI, and climate change. And I did my PhD from one of the European university, and then I did my postdoctorate from one of the Canadian university. So during my postdoctorate, I came up with an idea to translate my research and academic knowledge into a product. So I started a company in 2019 in Canada, in Toronto, to having aim of high-tech agriculture. And at that point of time, I was exploring how India is doing, in terms of basically the startup. And once we started this high-tech agriculture startup, and few months after there was a COVID, so we stuck in the COVID period. But somehow I landed back to India by end of 2020. That was basically end of COVID, and beginning of 2021. And when I was exploring the opportunity in Canada, I explored a couple of startups in India. There is a company called Fasal. They were working on IoT-based agriculture farming. And luckily, I did my PhD on sensor development during my research journey in Europe. So I tried to collaborate with them to have a partnership for my Canadian firm, but they said they are not into the high-tech agriculture. They are into basically the land-based farming. But when I came back to India, I started one laboratory at my terrace, and my mother told me, we have a lot of fields, so who is going to grow things in water, why not to do something in the field? And then I again connected with the fossil people to have a partnership, but it didn't work. But eventually I landed as an employee at a fossil, and that was the day I could say it was completely changing in my life to understand the Indian agriculture in deep and understand the problem to solve. So my high-tech agriculture idea was completely evolved to talk about high precision agriculture with affordability in India, which is basically a big problem. So I work over there for 15 months, but I again left India, so I left the company. And the insight which I have gained, till mid of 2022. And then I made a new company in India because I see Indian startup is growing very fast. And the problem having a Canadian company, we are not able to participate in Indian startup scheme because we have to be 51% Indian holding company. So I closed my Canadian startup and we made an Indian startup in 2022. And since then we are doing R&D. So in past 3 years, almost we did a deep research with having a good folks in India and abroad who are having a deep science knowledge. Along with that, we got so many good talented folks as an engineer from IITs. And I'm happy to tell you guys in last month in March, we have launched our first flagship Farm Fusion product on Google App Store. So why we are solving this problem and what are the problems? Because we all know that nowadays climate change is very drastic, and having a erratic rain, a lot of problems. So we have big losses in the productivity just because of not having a proper information to predict the climate. The things are outdated. I would say we have agronomical practices, traditional practices, and that is outdated because that is not completely matching with the climate change. And the problem, the solution, whatever we are having, that is basically either not very precise or very costly, like as I mentioned, IoT. So when I was working at Fossil, the technology is good, but that is not scalable because they have reached to the millions and millions of farmers. But in last 7-8 years, they were unable to sell to millions of farmers. They were able to sell around 10 to 50,000. So if we consider all Indian IoT companies, still they are not able to reach a 50,000 farmers, though they have reached to the multi-millions of farmers because they have shown their interest, So here what we are doing at MacroCosmos Creation, so we are solving these problems. So first of all, I'm happy to tell whatever we have made, that is made in India and we are making for the globe. So our vision and aim is to provide the technology to multi countries. So after India, we have a plan to how we can go ahead with the Southeast Asian countries and African countries, and then targeting the developed nation like Europe, Canada, and America. But currently, we are 100% focused on India. So we have developed field-tailored hyper-local weather forecasting, that is in-house development. We have developed sensor-less AI-powered accurate crop stage specific recommendation, which is a very much important. And the solution is very, very affordable. So anybody who has ability to spend 250 to 300 rupees per month, they are able to buy our solution. And that solution will give a good benefit. There is a good ROI, I would say, after spending like 2,000, 2,500 rupees per year. So what are the features basically we are having in our comprehensive platform? Whatever features are here, these features are not new, let me tell you. But the problem is people are using irrigation advisory, but they have a sensor, and that sensors are very costly. So people are not able to basically buy those sensors, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 rupees. But our idea is to do the same thing, having a deep science stack, behind that, because soil moisture sensor just measure the soil moisture, but soil moisture itself is not enough parameter to tell you how much water your crop is required at that particular stage, and in that particular basically weather, for example. But here we have a sensorless AI powered algorithm that can tell everything, that can talk about the moisture condition, that can talk about the water of amount required. And if we are able to manage all these things properly, then we are able to save even up to 30%, we have mentioned, just because of conservatively approach. But I have seen practically we are able to save at least up to 70% of water. It depends on the type of crops and the place which we are dealing with, right? So disease and pest alert. So that is another feature. This is a predictive. So we are able to tell 5 days in advance what problem can be there in terms of the disease and pest. So we are able to send them the actionable insight, like what molecules you need to spray and what time. So in that case, you can reduce significant losses of the crops. This is like a vaccine, for example. Prevention is better than cure. Along with the alert, we have also developed the disease pest detection model. So currently we have developed for 382 crops for around 8,000 disease and pest. And I can claim this is India's first. There is a company called Plantix. That is a German company, but most of the people in India, Southeast Asia, and Latin America, they're using their API. But we have made our own internal Indian made and MCC made algorithm to detect the crop as well as disease and pest, along with the other deficiency like water stress and nutritional deficiency. We have also developed a model to identify the crop because we already know our customers who need to understand what crop is particularly grown in that particular area to make their basically decision better. And also we have a harvesting time optimization. So our algorithm can identify the time to harvest of the crops. Along with these features, we have few more features. We have developed a community where people can go. It is like a Facebook group. People can go and they post their questions and then talk to their nearest folks. We have a chatbot that is also AI-powered chatbot, and we have developed the world first human-less crop advisor expert, which we are launching in the next upgrade version. So this is what we are claiming at the moment because we didn't find the people who have this type of features. So market opportunity. The market opportunity is very, very huge. Here in India, we have 150 million, 15 crore farmers, and we have some percentage of this time SAM. So SOM is around 7.5 million. That is also in the very conservative side. But let me give you the statistics. Currently in India, around 100 millions downloads for the Agri app from Google App Store and iOS. So this is almost 100 million apps. So we consider like if 25 million farmers are using that app. So that is also the data is verified through one of our traction here, for example. So we all know that in India, 30 million farmers are using agri-tech application. So this data is also validated through our assumptions, whatever we are assuming. And once we have this traction in terms of value, so I already have written one blog, and India has a good potential like 25 to 30 million worth value of crop advisory next 10 to 15 years. Currently, it is around $3 to $4 billion crop advisory services market available in India. And we are targeting at least 10 to 15% in next 5 years, so we can reach $1 billion value, the revenue after 4 to 5 years, I would say. So once we have made the product, we know the traction, we also should know how to get our money back, because in last 3 years, I spent my entire saving. Till date, we are not funded. And one of my co-founders also spent her saving. She was earlier in the call. Her name is Sharvari. I'm not sure if she's available at the moment. So we have a multiple revenue stream. So we are going with the subscription models, as well as we have a licensing fee and pay per use. So pay per use are basically API. One of our customers has requested us to give them API, which is for a disease detection. And a couple of folks are already in touch with us, having, for example, 70,000 grape farmers. They are into export and input business. And in the last year, they have a 10 CR of export business for the grapes. So they are looking basically the licensing thing from our side. And obviously we have a subscription model for the individuals and for the small retailers. So our main business is mostly in B2B. So 80% business which we are doing with the B2B, and 20% business we are doing with the B2C. And B2C, who are the customer? As I mentioned, the IoT company are failed to deliver to those people where they have reached. So they are our potential customer, because we know that they have ability to pay at least 500 to 700 rupees per month, but our subscription is very, very cost effective. It is beginning with 250 rupees. Here we have some competitive landscape, and here in the left side you can see there's a company called Cropping, Philo, Arable, Fasal. Arable is basically American company. They tried to do something in India, but they are very costly, like 100,000, 150,000 hardware they are having, so they were unable to set. But Cropping has things which is a cloud satellite oriented AI powered things they are having, but that is not very much successful in India, because most of the Indian farms are very, very small holding. So their ability to touch to the basically the large scale farms, so they are very much successful. For example, Brazil. Philo and Fossil, they are trying to work with the cost effective sensor technology, but still that is not up to mark, because low cost sensor will not give you the high insight or high accurate data. And we are doing a partnership, or I could say the pilot, with one of the partners in India. They are recently in the news from Microsoft side. They are doing something in sugarcane, so they are talking about AI in sugarcane. So we're also doing the pilot with them, and they are going with us for around 50,000 farmers. And they have requested to these sensors companies to deliver this 50,000 sensors, but they are unable to do that in less period of time, even in next 1 to 2 years. So here our model is very, very scalable, I would say, along with the cost effective as well as a high precision. We also have some comparison between a crop advisory, including sensorless versus IoT. So our solution is basically affordable, accessible, I mentioned, scalable. There is a no maintenance or very minimal maintenance with the software updates. Yeah.
Abhishek, sorry to interrupt, but we are running out of time.
Yeah, so I almost done. So this is the comparison and the traction. Currently we have onboarded around 20 B2B partners, along with more than 3 million of farmers reach out, I would say. And we are in touch with those people to have around 198 lakh 90,000 farmers to serve immediately. And we are also incepted in NVIDIA Inception program. In the last cohort, we are the first Asia Pacific company in agri-tech, which is basically having this opportunity to be part of that. And they are also giving us $1 lakh value AWS credit, and we already have received. So this is our roadmap. We started in 2022, and now we are looking for the growth basically. And our ask is $500,000. Here I have mentioned 1 million. So we have $500,000 ask, and 50,000 we already have raised through NVIDIA in AWS, as well as from our internal team members, I would say. And we have received a soft commitment for around 150K. And there are 2 more potential, one angel group and one family funds. They are looking at us to invest in, and we are missing around $300,000 value. So we are looking that number to be very fast in the market. And this is our team. Here myself, Abhishek, my background is a precision agriculture and climate change, and another co-founder who has a good experience in biophysics as well as machine learning and marketing side. Sharvari is one of the co-founder having experience in computer science, and here the guy who is a satellite, and here there are 2 IITians who are supporting us in the development. And this guy, who's till date, he's a business advisor, but he left his job. So he's on notice period, and he's looking at us to join us immediately. So therefore, we are very much in need to have some money to at least help him to survive I mean, of course, he will not get a lot of money, but his package is very, very big. So at least we have a discussion at minimum cost. He can be with us, and this guy is working from USA, and he's helping us as a scientific input. So that's all. Thank you, Shivam. I'm very much happy to answer the questions if you guys are having any.